Am I stuck back here? Let me out! Let me out! Let me out! Let me out! Frank. Even if you find the latest BSG events annoying, unfun, or you don't like them, there's almost always an opportunity to make a little bit of money. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video, is how you can maximize profits using Ragman's latest temper tantrum or shortage, or however you want to look at it, where you basically can't get armor unless you're camping on the trader timer. So let's talk about a few items that are worth taking out a raid to make you a little extra money, and a couple of crafts that have become very profitable that weren't in the past. So the Ragman Event, if you're not aware, is a shortage on armor, bags, and fabrics. Though the fabrics haven't really showed up. There might be a lower spawn rate on the fabrics in raid, but the problem is the crafts and the barters aren't using them up nearly as much as they were before because of the limits on them. So I think it kind of balanced. We've seen a small increase, but not enough to really matter. It's all around armor and backpacks. That's where all of this is happening. So if you have level 4 Ragman or not, you got this message from him on the 23rd. If you didn't, you got to see it on Twitter or from guys like me. All right, so one of the first ones I want to talk about here is AA batteries. These things have been junk the whole wipe. They haven't been worth picking up unless you need them for some barter or you're doing hardcore mode. They just haven't been worth it. But because of a barter in the game right now and with the shortage, they have become very valuable. And because it's end game, a lot of people aren't looting them. So take advantage while you can. You can see people selling these for 14, 15, sometimes 16,000 because you use them for an army bag barter to get that little army bag, which then you use to craft things with. Now on top of it, you have this ski hat with holes for eyes. Now, well, right now it doesn't look like it's worth it because they're 8 or 9K. In fact, this would probably be worth snagging it up if you're camping the trader reset. Once that reset comes around and people are looking for hex grids, you'll see these push over 20,000 rubles each time they come through. So if you see them, pick them up. They're a 1 slot. Don't try to put it on your head because it takes the place of a helmet for some reason. But take these and sell them or save them for yourself for the H-grid barter because that is where they're valuable at. And with this, that same barter is the round frame sunglasses. Now, I won't usually wear sunglasses. If I kill Rashala or a raider or somebody that's wearing these, I'll definitely put them on to get them out of raid because they can be worth their 2 slots. You can see here if you're getting 22, 24,000, sure, they're worth their 2 slots, but there's a free slot on your eyes. Usually you can put them on as long as you're not worried about, if it's rainy out, probably wouldn't wear them. But most of the other time, especially if you're just headed for extract, it's not too big of a deal. Now, light bulbs, you're probably gonna laugh at me. I'm showing you the chart right here. They're selling for 6,000, 7,000, right? Yeah, well, every time I've seen these resets come through, these things push to like 12, 13, 15,000 because there's a barter in there with level 4 Ragman that uses 6 of these to get the beta backpack. So whenever Ragman's reset comes around, you see all of these get snatched up and then they get really expensive. Now, while 10K might be the peak for them, I actually paid like 13 or 14,000 on stream last night when I was playing because I didn't know about it. The refresh came around and it's hard to get backpacks right now. So I tried to snag up my allotment of 2 betas and I had to buy a whole bunch of light bulbs and it ended up costing me quite a bit of money. So it does do that. It gets that high. Keep that in mind that especially if you're an interchange runner, light bulbs are probably worth taking. Don't try to sell them here. I would list them probably in the 12K range. And if you look here, you've got ones that are, until you get into like the 19,000, these things are not running out. Now, the Pacific Sari, Canna Pacific Sari, the food. This is another one like the light bulb that right now, you're seeing 9, maybe 10. I was seeing it down around 7 a little bit ago, but this chases the resets. Now, it doesn't push that 15, 16K like the others because there's not a whole bunch of them being used up, but they're definitely worth taking out a raid for 10, 11, 12,000 rubles if you want to push your luck. And again, this is used for an attack 2 barter, which is why they're more valuable right now than they have been in the past. Now, the last one I want to bring up is Paks, and not so much because they're good to put in your bag. They do take up 9 slots, and they're definitely not worth 90K. But if you're a scav, you're running around with armor, or you don't have armor, you find a pack of these, or maybe your bag's empty, you haven't looted anything. Paks are worth taking out. They're worth anywhere from 35 to 45,000 right now. Because you can turn them into Aramid for 1, which gives them about a 30 to 40K value. But then on the other side, people are using them just as a cheap armor to run around with everything else being in a shortage right now. Now, we're gonna get into backpacks, and there's several of these that are worth a bunch of money, especially because they don't take up any more slots than they provide. So like if they have 12 slots, they take up 12 slots, or if they take up 9 slots, they have 9 slots inside of them. So they can make the Tarkov Tetris a little bit tough, but they can be worth a ton of money. And the first one we're going to talk about is the MBSS. Now, there's a couple of reasons this is worth a bunch of money. Obviously, shortage. There isn't backpacks out there, so people are just buying whatever they can. But also you use these to craft scav bags. So people are buying them up to craft scav backpacks, either for their own use or to sell. Either one works. But just keep that in mind. They don't take up any more slots than they have inside of them. So if you see one of these, throw all your loot in that and put that whole thing in your backpack, and you get basically a free 34K with no extra slots. Now this applies for backpacks that have 20 slots or less, but you can stack these infinitely. So if you find 4 scav backpacks, you can just keep stuffing them one inside another, and as you can see, they're worth a bunch of money. This applies to the Vortex, which are they're 20 slots as well as the LBT 800 day pack. They're same size, they're 20 slot. All of these are worth, you can stick them inside, stack them to your heart's content as you find them in raid. But keep that in mind, the extra money that comes with that. Even though the looting can be kind of a pain in the neck, it's definitely a way to make a bunch more money. Now this applies to some smaller backpacks that don't have utility necessarily to wear, but because they are used for crafting. Now the first one is this blue backpack. It's easy to see, a little tourist bag that you'll see scavs wearing. This thing's running 17-18K because you use it to craft the big pilgrim, for the purple bag, if you will. And then the next one up is the army bag. Now, while this one can be worth 20-30,000, the problem with it is it takes up 12 slots and it only provides you 8. So this one will actually cause you to lose space. Usually not worth it. If it's all the backpack you have, obviously great, get it out, sell it, don't just vendor it. And if you have a bunch of free space in your bag, you can get much loot out of a raid. Again, a little bit extra money you can get out with. Now, no video from me would be complete without talking about crafting. So we'll talk about the little bit that there is. There's 2 crafts in here right now that are making really good money, especially if you can get your components out of raid. The first is the scav backpack. This is making you about 20,000 rubles a craft, or about 22K an hour, depending on your skills, a little bit more if your skills are higher. Obviously, I'm pushing like 30K an hour because my hideout skills are higher, but this makes 2 bags with 1 MBSS, 1 water, and 1 fleece. So you can either sell those or keep bags for use, so you're not spending a bunch of money on them. Either way, it's decent profit. And then a little bit longer of a craft, if you have a higher level laboratory, is the raid bag. Now, the key to this is not to buy these army bags. When you go for these things, you want to do the barter. And we talked about the pieces before. You have 2 AA batteries and soap, which soap is always a keep. There's a lot of things, but this here allows you to get these bags for about 12K a piece. A little bit less if you're good at finding AA batteries, or if you are shopping them a little bit cheaper. But you grab a couple of these and it allows you to craft the raid bag, which these things sell for upwards of 200,000 a piece. All your materials all in are about 140 to 150. You can see the profits you're making off each of those bags that you sell. All right, well, that wraps it up. No idea how long the event will last. We've had events last a week or 2 weeks, like way back earlier this year. We've had some that last just a couple of days. You know, basically they start on the weekend and they end on Tuesday. So this might be over by tomorrow. Who knows? Either way, here's a little bit of information to help make your life a little bit easier while this shortage is going on. As always, quick shout out to the Patreons and their support. I greatly appreciate it. Those guys and folks over there are great. And thank you for watching the video. Like and subscribe if you like the content. We'll keep doing this stuff if you guys are enjoying it. Otherwise, see you in Tarkov.